If you want your EV to be as quiet and efficient as possible, it's really the tyres you have to look at. Hankook approached me and asked me whether I would like to try their EV-specific tyres. And I said yes. So here I am at the Guildford Tyre Company. And I'm going to put on some Hankook FlexClimate ions. These are EV-specific, and they should make my e-Niro sing.
It is no different to a traditional combustion engine.
So you see all these numbers on a tyre? What do they all mean? You've got a nice car, put on nice tyres.
I can go for that.
Now, I know tyres aren't the sexiest topic, are they, for a video, but they make such a massive, massive difference, both to the way the car drives and the noise levels, the efficiency, all of that. They're really, really important, and we don't think about them enough. Obviously, all-season tyres are a little bit of a compromise in that you don't get quite as much grip in winter as you would do with winter tyres, and of course in summer they're not quite as quiet and efficient. However, they're a really good compromise, and for someone like me who doesn't generally have very much time to go and change tyres, that's a fancy way of saying I'm a bit lazy, I suppose. So for me, all seasons are fantastic, and the tyres that I've been driving, these Goodyears, they've been really good actually. I've had no complaints at all. I'm going to talk to Matt Sunderland. He's the director of Guildford Tyre Company, and I'm going to find out a little more about tyres because I don't know anything. So Matt, there's obviously loads of different tyres here. What makes all of these different?
These are Hankook's EV tyres. Each of them is designed for different purposes and different vehicles. Your tyres you're having fitted are Hankook's Ion FlexClimate, which are an all-season tyre specifically designed for EV vehicles.
And what makes it so special for EVs?
They do several specific jobs. One is to increase the range, and the way the tyre is constructed is to reduce noise. And in your case, you're going for an all-season tyre.
And these have foam on the inside, is that right?
The acoustic foam reduces the noise of the tyres in the cabin. The whole purpose of the acoustic is to sound deaden the noise that the tyre makes. On the sidewall of these, they will have a lot of information that are very useful for all different types of tyres. The ice mark here, it denotes that it's an all-season, and you'll need that for European legislation if you're going somewhere in the winter that's likely to have snow in Central Europe. And your sound deadening, different manufacturers call the soundproofing different words. You are looking for sound absorber for Hankook.
You've obviously got loads of different tyres up there. I mean, that one up there is enormous, isn't it?
So that's an Audi one. TO, Tesla.
Right.
Okay. So again, it's still an Ion, it's still an EV tyre, it still has the sound foam on, but this one specifically for Tesla. So tyres are very type specific for certain vehicles.
And this EU tyre label for the FlexClimate, obviously this is, because it's an all-season, it's a bit worse on efficiency, isn't it?
Is.
And a little bit worse with the noise.
Yes.
Whereas this, I'm assuming, is a summer tyre?
It
is. That
is,
right? Yeah,
correct.
So that's why that gets AA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the UK, a very low percentage of the tyres that we sell are actually all-season tyres.
Oh, right. Okay.
And we can't understand why, because although you are, like everything in life, you're compromising, why not have a tyre that fits all seasons? All our company vehicles run on all-season tyres.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I thought it was just me.
No.
Oh, okay, great. So you see all these numbers on a tyre? What do they all mean? Let's find out.
The first number you see normally ends in a 5, 235, 245, is the width of the tyre, approximately in millimetres. So this tyre's width is approximately 235 millimetres. The next number is the aspect ratio, or the profile. So the height of the sidewall of this tyre is 40% of its width, so that's a percentage. Right. The R denotes radial. Nearly all tyres now are radials on cars. And then the final number is the inch. So we've got a mixture of metric, percentage, and imperial inch. So this is a 235 40 19 designed for a 19-inch wheel. The next numbers and letters are the type specific nature of this particular tyre. So the 96W relates to the load index and the speed rating. So the 96 means that this tyre is designed to carry a certain amount of weight over a certain period, which denotes the load index, and the W, meaning the speed rating, denotes the speed that that vehicle can carry that weight for. W, Y and Z, which is the highest specification, means that this tyre is designed to do consistently over 150 miles an hour. Okay? And the XL stands for extra load, again because of the various types of cars are heavier, electric vehicles included, that certain tyres are built in with an extra load to carry that weight. So you imagine this Tesla tyre, 4 people with suitcases, fully loaded, a heavy Tesla doing 150 miles an hour on an autobahn in Germany where it's legal for a long period of time. These tyres have to cope with an awful lot, and they are specifically designed for that characteristic of that vehicle.
Right. So Emil is now going to change my tyres over for the Hankooks, and I'm going to talk to Matt and find out what Emil actually has to do, because I've had my tyres changed loads of times in the past and I've never paid too much attention.
This is obviously your old tyre. Again, a very good brand. It's a Goodyear. Emil is in the process of demounting the tyre. So we use the bead breaker to pop the beads off the wheel. We've got to be very careful of your sensor, and I'll show you the sensor in a moment. So we avoid that area so we don't break it. And once Emil is happy that it's broken all the way around, he will then put it onto the jaws of the machine, clamp the wheel up safely, make sure that the top bead again is loose. He's then using, again, very good practice, a rim protector. The rim protector is so that not only does the head of the machine set properly without touching your alloy wheel, the tyre lever we use doesn't touch your alloy wheel, so it protects it from any scratches or damage. And he's also mounted it to a certain position where your tyre pressure sensor is not going to be damaged either. The experience that Emil has, he makes sure that all those things in his own mind is automatic. This is your tyre pressure sensor.
Okay.
So this device is called a direct system, which means that the sensor talks to your computer in the car and actually measures the pressure inside that tyre.
Right.
So if that pressure drops or increases, it will send a signal to the car saying it's a problem. There is another type of system called an indirect system, which is done on the ABS and the wheel speed sensors of the car, but you have a direct sensor. So Emil has to be incredibly careful that, as we said before, that he treats it the right way and puts a new core in, but he doesn't damage that when he fits the tyre.
So does that have a battery in it? Or
yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So like everything, it has a life. It has a life not only because of the fact that it's got an aluminium stem and obviously a plastic protective of the technical equipment inside. It also has a battery inside, and the battery lives. Then normally we're seeing between sort of 8 years probably.
Okay.
So it's another consumable item. And when the battery goes, you just replace the sensor. It doesn't have to be an original because nearly all independent tyre shops will have some form of blank sensors that they can reprogram for you.
Okay.
So again, worst case scenario, that if that is broken when you come into a tyre shop or it's not reading properly, we'll be able to replace it for you at the same time.
And that's the case for all brands?
All brands, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Emil's got the tyres down and he's doing something on this machine now. What's he doing?
Okay, so this is the process of actually fitting the tyre. We have to do it in a certain sequence. So he'll deflate the tyre, take the valve core out, and it's very important that after we've removed the tyre that we clear up what we call the bead, the area of the wheel that the tyre seats on.
Okay.
He's then got your new tyre out ready, and he has used a speed grease, lots of different types, but we have our own favourites. This particular one dries clear so you don't get that awful white telltale signs you've had a tyre done. It's basically a lube to help mount the tyre onto the wheel safely so it's not damaged by the machine, and it also helps when you hear the bang. It also helps the tyre seat on the wheel when we put air in it. It's very important with the TPMS sensor you use the correct core and you replace it for a new one. So A, it doesn't leak, and B, it doesn't corrode inside your sensor, which are obviously quite expensive and very important for the safety, knowing when you have a puncture or a deflation.
Yeah.
He's now checking the tyre pressure, putting a new valve cap on. Again, valve cores are not airtight. So the actual airtight part of that part of the system is the cap. So we put a new cap on, and he's now going to balance your wheel. A lot of people get confused about balancing and wheel alignment. They're two distinct different processes. In theory, every time you have a new tyre fitted, we will automatically balance your wheel. Now, the balancing means that it reduces any vibration at certain speeds, so you have a very smooth ride. If you don't balance it, on the front wheel, you'll get a shimmy at a certain speed through the steering wheel, and if you don't balance the rears, you will get a vibration through your bottom, through the seat of the car. Okay. So this machine balances it, which effectively optimises the tyre to the wheel.
Okay.
Again, doing it properly, there's a right way and a wrong way, and also using colour-coded weights, silver or black, depending on the colour of your wheel. So this machine is now slow spinning it. It will come up on the screen it had 30 grams and 20 grams. It's highlighted where the 20 grams needs to go, which for ease isn't top dead centre, it's at the bottom, and you can see a red laser line which tells Emil exactly where to fit the balance weights. Again, good practice, use a soft wire brush to clear up any brake dust or debris that's on the inside of the wheel. We then use a cleaner called Buffsol to clear off any residue that helps the sticky weight, a black adhesive weight in your case, to stick to the wheel.
Right. I always wondered what these were, 'cause I've seen them and I had no idea.
And then the process after we've balanced it, it's come up 0-0, so we know that your wheel is perfectly balanced. We'll then obviously put it back onto the vehicle. What we didn't talk about with the FlexClimate is there a directional tyre.
Okay.
So when you look at the tyre, it has an arrowhead formation, and the arrowhead obviously is designed to disperse water and slush and ice and snow in a certain direction. So that one, the arrowhead going clockwise, is for the offside, the driver's side of the car.
Right, okay.
So in theory, if you did it that way round, it would be going backwards. When we put the wheel back on the car, we always make sure that the hub where it goes to is clean, and then we put the wheel nuts on, or wheel bolts on by hand. They will then be what we call nipped up, but the final process will be doing it up by hand using a torque wrench. Okay. Every manufacturer has a specific specification and torque setting. So for your Kia, it will be different to a Porsche or different to a Land Rover or whatever. All these factors, whether it's tyre pressure or balancing or using the correct valve cores, all means the fact that you are going to go away knowing that your car is in its best, perfect manufacturer specified tolerances, and you won't cause any future problems.
Yeah, and tyres aren't cheap, are they? And
no,
you want them to last
it's an
a long
investment.
Time. Yeah,
you know, this is the whole part. You've got a very expensive piece of equipment with your family in it, and the only thing that's keeping you in contact with the road is a section of tyre about the size of an envelope. And if you want a return on your investment, both in terms of with EVs, with range, not only with longevity of the tyre, mileage, with the grip, comfort and noise, and if it was a traditional combustion engine, again, the fuel efficiency.
People say that EVs shred their tyres and they go through them very quickly, but let's see if that's really the case. So these are the old Goodyear Vectors that I've been driving around for just over 2 years, done 21,500 miles. A lot of people say EVs burn through their tyres quickly. So could we just check the tread depth on here?
7 mil of tread.
Okay.
So if this tyre has only been on the back of this car, it has used 1 millimetre of tread for how many thousand miles?
21,500.
Which is unbelievable. It is front-wheel drive. That's pretty uniform if it was an internal combustion engine as well.
Okay.
When we go to the front, it has a lot more wear, okay? But it's still absolutely incredible that you're looking at, you've only used 3 millimetres worth of tread.
Right, okay.
So if a car is aligned properly, if it is used for a multitude of different types of mileage, cars like long journeys, because obviously there's no stresses or strains on a motorway, whereas start, stop, round the houses, lots of turns, lots of twists, again, you will reduce your mileage quite considerably. Okay. But the misconception about EV tyres is because, yes, a lot of them are much heavier, so there is more weight to carry around. They have a lot more torque, so some of the performance electric vehicles obviously have a lot more power and torque, so that's putting a strain on the tyres. But also the fact that each tyre manufacturer has a different tread depth to cope with the efficiency of that tyre. In Hankook's case, their tyres still have 8 millimetres of tread when they are building one for an EV, whereas other manufacturers, to reduce the rolling resistance, might make it with 4, 5 or 6 millimetres as standard. Right. So you've got less tread to start with, which also means why you are, in theory, getting less mileage.
Okay.
But it is no different to a traditional combustion engine, okay, if the tyres are looked after properly.
Okay, so generally, I mean, you obviously see a lot of people come in here, you change a lot of tyres for EVs, but you generally don't see too much more.
Correct, absolutely. How you drive the vehicle, what use you have the vehicle, determines tyre life as much as how it's fueled.
So clearly there's still plenty of life in my old tyres. I'm going to take them back with me, and I might sell them on eBay, or I might just keep them in the garage just for spares in case I have a puncture. Just driving out of Guildford Tyre Centre, it certainly feels different, but it's too early to really say because there is an oil that coats new tyres and it can take about 200 miles to get rid of that. So it's a few months since I had my Hankooks fitted, and I've now come here to this very, very windy but beautiful car park in Ashdown Forest to meet my friend Gary. He's got a Polestar too. This also has Hankooks on it. We put our Hankooks on at roughly the same time. We're now going to compare notes. Well, I've got some notes. I don't know if Gary's got any notes, but we're going to compare our thoughts. Do we say Hankook or Hankook?
I'm going for Hankook. When I spoke to Neil, he said Hankook.
Okay, all right. What Hankooks do you have on here?
Oh, very good question. Big sporty ones. Hang on, let me get you the actual details on it. These are the one, I can't see the damn things without my glasses. They'll be the same on the back, won't they? Well, they're the...
You know, some people say we're too professional. We'll flash it on screen, it's fine.
19-inch.
Okay. And these are summer tyres, right?
As opposed to being all weather tyres, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got the FlexClimate SUV, and these are all seasons.
And why did you go for those?
Because my previous tyres were all seasons. And the previous ones were the Goodyear Vector 4 seasons. So I wanted to compare like for like.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I love all seasons. Should we talk about handling, and then we'll talk about maybe efficiency, and we'll talk about noise?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I've got a little pad here.
Okay.
With my numbers.
I'm going to just make them up as we go along.
Okay, good.
That's fine.
Right. So, should we talk about handling first?
Yes.
How has it been for you?
I think for reference, the tyres I had on before were Davantes, which are a brand of a large Chinese company that makes a number of different, they're all identical tyres, they brand them differently for different markets. So it was what we probably call the economy range of the tyres. They were on the vehicle when I bought it, I didn't put them on. I don't know how many miles they'd done on them, and they kind of handled okay. I mean, it's a relatively heavy car. It's got quite a chunky battery in there. In the big scheme of things, if I'm throwing it into a corner and it's not particularly dry, you can kind of feel it starting to slip a little bit. I tried not to do too much of that, obviously. Having put these on, I ran them for about 500 miles just to make sure that they'd run correctly.
Yep.
And then I did a little bit of going around the corners. There is a noticeable difference. There's a very noticeable difference. They're a lot more grippy. I don't feel quite as hesitant going into a corner as I did before. And for yours?
Exactly the same as the other tyres.
Fair enough.
I couldn't tell. There was no discernible difference. So for me, they're just as brilliant as my old Goodyears were.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you've gone from pretty budget tyres to premium Hankooks, whereas I've gone from Goodyear to Hankook. They're both premium.
Yeah, and I've gone from budget tyres that I don't know how many miles they'd already done to Hankooks that were brand new, sort of literally take the wrapper off before they put them on.
Yeah, okay. But all I would say is with mine, it handles very, very well. And the weather hasn't been that terrible since putting these on, but lots of rain.
Yes.
And it's absolutely fine, brilliant. I feel completely stable and whatever with that. And anytime I go around corners and all that, it's all good, holds the road really well. Terrible driving conditions, awful weather, really wet roads. And there was even a sign back there saying skid risk. But these tyres are fantastic. The car is it's not going anywhere. That's really impressive. And that's despite this just being front wheel drive. It's not even an all wheel drive car. The car feels completely stable. Just feels solid as a rock. They're really good tyres. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. But then I was happy with my previous tyres. Noise. So, what was the app called?
It's something like NIOSH.
Right, okay. So, Gary put me onto this app. I was using this app coming back from the school run. Everything completely silent in the car, of course. Had the iPhone in the little caddy thing, recording the decibels. So I did that several times and then got an average. So I've done that before with the Goodyears and I've done it after. Now I've got the Hankooks. About as scientific as I get.
Yep.
Which is not very.
Yep.
So they're better. They're better than the Goodyears. 67.9 decibels was the average I got over the 4 trips I did, compared to 68.7 with the Goodyears. So these are a bit better. I did run in the tyres a little bit after getting them. The longer I have them, obviously, I imagine the better it gets. So that's me. So these better than the others.
Yeah. I did exactly the same thing, used exactly the same app. I had a couple of different runs. I had sort of a 15-minute run down to a local coffee shop, and then not far from where I live, there's a nice stretch of dual carriageway between 2 roundabouts, and I'd do that a couple of times, average them out. The exact figures I don't have to hand, but not too different from you. And again, about a decibel difference between the old Davantes and the Hankooks. So my question to you is, was that difference audible to you as a driver?
So the moment I drove out after getting the tyres changed, I thought, well, these sound better. Maybe it's my imagination, but they definitely seem a bit quieter. A slight noticeable difference, but it's difficult on these roads because our roads are absolutely crap.
Yes.
There are potholes everywhere, so I spend the whole journey avoiding potholes. So the roads are terrible, but yes, a bit better. Actually, the biggest endorsement I can find is from my daughter, who never says anything positive about anything. She said, have we changed the driveway, Dad? Because we've got a terrible gravel driveway and it sounded better to her, that it was less noticeable.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Which is interesting, and I didn't really notice that, but she did. So, and then I told her I actually got new tyres. Now, that could just be that the tread is different on these to the old Goodyears, and that's why, but I don't know. But that's something that she noticed.
From my point of view, I don't think I could physically hear the difference. There was no, oh, good grief, these are a lot quieter.
Okay.
But the data bear out the fact that there is about a decibel difference, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then finally we've got efficiency.
Yes, efficiency is, it's, as we've had this conversation, it's a difficult one because you've got to compare the same car under the same weather and same driving conditions with the old tyres and with the new tyres. That's not easy to do because I had these on now for, I think we had them put on before Christmas, so they've been on about 4 or 5 months. In fact, probably 6 months if I think about it. It's been difficult getting the same type of weather conditions over the same run to sort of differentiate it. I'm not seeing a huge, given what I've just said, I'm not seeing a huge difference. There has been a little bit. I'm averaging 3.5 miles to the kilowatt hour. It's an old version. The motors are not particularly efficient. The new ones are a lot better apparently. So 3.5. Prior to that, it was probably about 3.2, 3.1, 3.2. Little difference, not as much, not enough for me to go, whoa, fantastic.
Yeah.
But it is a difference.
So for me, all seasons are less efficient anyway than summer tyres, but these are, at the moment, less efficient, I think, than the old tyres. But I was trying to be scientific about it. So every time I did a noise test, I filmed.
Yep.
Yeah, and I filmed my efficiency at the end of the trip. Another school run, and still good efficiency, look, 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour. But stupidly, I put the heater on some days and not others. So, yeah, that screwed up all of my results.
Yes.
However, I did definitely, in a similar temperature, the same route, obviously, and the good years were 0.1 mile per kilowatt hour better. So negligible.
What you need to do is what the professionals do, which is you go to Millbrook Proving Ground, you get onto the big oval there, and you do half an hour driving with the old tyres, and then you change it, you do half an hour driving with the new tyres, and you compare and contrast.
Yes.
So you know you've got the same route, you've got the same vehicle, you've got the same road conditions on the same day.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
But as it stands for this video, you've just got me, an idiot, doing a very non-scientific test. If you look at the EU tyre label for the old tyres and for these, they're virtually identical anyway, really. There's not very much in it. I'm happy with these. I was happy with my previous tyres, but I'm also happy with these, and they do seem to be a little quieter, which is great. And yeah, they feel good. And what about you?
Well, it's interesting because obviously, as I say, I've come from a quote-unquote cheap Chinese tyre. So psychologically, in my own mind, I'm putting on a premium tyre. So to me, yes, I think they feel better. I think they sound better. I think they operate better.
Yeah.
The data doesn't necessarily sort of support that, but in my mind, it's a better tyre.
Can I use a drink analogy?
Go for it.
I liken this to drinking wine out of a paper cup, right? If you drink wine out of a paper cup, it doesn't taste as good. And that's what I feel budget tyres are like.
Yeah.
It's you're drinking wine out of a paper cup. With this, especially on a nice car like your Polestar 2,
Yeah.
you've got tyres that suit the car.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
You're drinking wine out of a wine glass, a proper wine glass with your nice stem.
Yeah.
There we go. Hankook,
Swirling it, doing the
swirling
nose
it,
test.
all of that.
Yeah.
So some people might say, well, there's no difference. But I think you've got a nice car, put on nice tyres,
I can go for that.
and there's my analogy. Feel free to rip that apart in the comments.
No, I like that one. I think I'm happy that I've got them on.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank Hankook for providing them because, you know, we've got to say that both Andrew and I were provided these by Hankook.
Yes,
I prefer drinking my wine out of a wine glass, not a paper cup.
exactly. And I think we'll leave it there, I think. Thank you very much to Gary and his beautiful Polestar 2. I swoon every time I see Polestars. They are beautiful. And the colour matches the sky as well, which is nice.
Yeah, atmospheric.
Yes, and thank you very much to Hankook. I think we're going to have to do a follow-up at some point because I really want to do a proper efficiency test with same conditions, same car, same route, same weather, all the rest of it. So hopefully we'll get that organised. But anyway, for now, thank you very much for watching this video. Please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos, and I'll be back very soon. And do subscribe to Gary's channel on YouTube and listen to his podcast and watch his podcast as well while you're at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.